Yeah, I just touched up my two-person ladder stand. This is becoming my favorite spot on the property. Put a skirt around it and put a cushion down on it, and I put a rope to help support, really make that shooting rail there stable. So I put a kind of a rope up to the tree, kind of tying it off to make it really solid. And there's a rub right there on the other side of the tree. There's a bunch down over the bank there. There's quite a few down this point, and then there's one right here in front of me. All right, I just set up this single ladder stand. I've got my two-person back here, but I'm trying to set it up where multiple people can hunt there at the same time. I can video while somebody else hunts. But down there's where I've been having good luck the last couple years and seeing deer, and this is becoming my favorite spot, so I put this set up. I can kind of see down in there just a little bit better, but this is where I'll be day after tomorrow. Go down, go down, go down, go down, go down. Just fell right there. He went down. I shot him just right here, probably at he reared straight back. I think I shot him, he was probably 36 yards. And he ran all the way back and then circled around. He landed very close to where my last buck landed. Dude, I am shaking like a leaf. Shaking like a leaf. Tried to get a little bit of pre-roll. But I'm going to get down out of here and reload and tiptoe up on him. I'm sure he's down. He crashed just right. Let's see here, he crashed right in there. Alright, so it's I pulled the trigger at 8:45 a.m. Breeze thermals are starting to, it's kind of going down this way, and he was going to come down here into my scent cone, but I don't know how far he would have come. The farmers down here grading the road are doing something of that nature, making a bunch of racket, and I don't know that he would have went that close down that way, but just set this tree stand 2 days ago. I've had that one set for a while. I touched it up just a couple days ago when I set this stand, and then down there on the ground is where I was sitting whenever I killed my first tag buck, and which is barely an 8-pointer. This one here is not going to be barely an 8-pointer. It's going to be a good one. But it technically should have, this one here should technically have been my first buck. I shouldn't have shot that first one. But this one here I'm sure I'll be happy with. Dang sure not the biggest deer on the property this year. There's an absolute enormous 8-pointer here that my wife named Beast. Alright, so coming out of my tree stand right there, and headed the direction I was facing the deer. There's some rubs right here. That's this year's rubs. He was actually walking right to them. He wasn't standing far at all from this rub down here, which I also believe to be a this year's rub. There's another rub on a tree right there. So it's been rubbed pretty good in this pocket. He was standing pretty close to this, I think. Go down here and see what we can see here. When I shot, he reared right up on his back legs. Thought he was going to flip all the way backwards, but he wielded. Should have marked the spot before I climbed down the stand. The leaves are tore up here. It might have been right here. Yeah, there's blood. So, all right. So he was probably right in here. I'm just now getting on my first blood. And he's bleeding good, man. It's the color blood you want to see also. Of course, I've made a lot harder shots this year. That small buck and that doe I shot was a lot trickier shot. Yeah, he's bleeding really good here. Viewer discretion advised. Oh, he's pouring. Yeah, there's chunks of lung tissue right there. I tell you, this little pocket has become my favorite place to hunt. on the farm. All right, so he's up here. I was getting a little downhill of him. He's heading right up here to this log. This log is where I saw a good antlered deer. His horns look darker than this one though. He's done sprayed all over the tree there. But they were right here. They were right here at this log. Both the buck and the doe that I shot. But the bigger buck was on the other side of the log, and he had really dark antlers. This one here is not going to be no giant, but it's definitely a second tag shooter for me. And there he is right there. Told my wife I just wanted something good enough to do a Euro mount on, and he's definitely that. I'm sure I've got trail cam of him. Alright, so here's the all-over buck at a place that we call the Greenbrier Seat. This is on October the 2nd of 2021. He's a 2-year-old here. He's got one of his buddies with him there in the background. You can see the Browning camera up on the tree. I monitor this every year. Deer like to drink muddy water. I think they actually prefer still water over fresh flowing water. It really draws them to this spot. Here he is at the persimmon trees. Here he is all the way up towards the front of the farm, getting ready to cross the road that leads in. This is all the way up at the front of the farm, one of the front fields, right on the front edge of the front field. So he's all over the place. That's why I call him the all-over buck, because he just shows up all over. So yeah, he's way up in the rimrock there. He's down in a place that we call the graveyard. It's where the farmer puts a bunch of his cow demises, is right below that spot, back through the persimmon trees. Now he's getting ready to jump a fence near the farmhouse. So this buck, you know, here he is in 2022. He's back. He's here. What's going on at this time is I'm hunting another property. I started hunting it late in 21, and I hunted it hard in 2022 and 2023 after the biggest buck of my life, Titan. So I'm spending a lot more time on this other property and just not so much time monitoring this farm, which is generally my favorite farm. So while that's going on, we've got the all-over buck, which my wife nicknamed Cruiser. We got, you know, Cruiser here starting to get big. I mean, for me, he's a first tag shooter right here, you know, as a 3-year-old. Look at him looking at the camera. Back at the persimmon trees. The persimmon tree is a great place to inventory what's on the ground, and he loved the persimmons. Here he is as I literally have a tree stand off the frame here it's just, you can't quite see it. It's off to the left, just down that hill. I've got a 2-person ladder stand right there, just above the Greenbrier Seat, and it's a mock scrape I had put up. And there he is crossing back over in the front of the farm, across the farm road. And he's back here at the vertical scrape branch, which had a lot of luck out of it the last couple of years. And I love it that he loves to jump this gate down near the farmhouse. He loves to jump that gate in the bottom. That's one of my favorite videos up there, going by the Greenbrier Seat. You know, daylight. I mean, he's a good buck. He's a shooter buck, no doubt about it. Even at this stage. He's back up in the front of the farm. It's just a different angle for him. Usually get the angle from that camera that just came on, but it's a different angle for him crossing the farm road. He doesn't actually go across the gate here, but he does jump the fence. But I love anything I can get, you know, daylight. We're up into the peak rut now, November the 21st of 2023. Again, I'm pretty much the only day I hunted this was with Kevin, you know, on Thanksgiving Day. And here he is up where Kevin actually hunted that day. He killed a 9-pointer. He's up at the rope scrape above where Kevin was sitting, and he and a 9-pointer was working it pretty heavy, and I told Kevin he probably had a better chance of seeing the 9-pointer, and he did. So that was pretty much the only time that the all over buck cruiser was in jeopardy, was with Kevin setting up there. I love daylight stuff. You know, this is middle of the day. I mean, you know the rut's on when they're out cruising middle of the day like that. And that's up high. I mean, he's almost getting over towards other land, other property. But back down at the persimmon trees, it looks like he's survived the season, the primary rifle season. A couple different videos of him there on December the 4th. Really like what you're about to see, how I set this up, where I've got 2 cameras there, so you can kind of see there's a hole in the fence, and deer been slipping through it, mostly does. You don't really see bucks slip through it, but he kind of thought about it for a second and he decided to go on up over. So this was the best jumping video I got of him in 2023. Back at the persimmon trees again. You know, he shows up in September. Last time it was September. Of course, y'all are only seeing a small fraction of this. Is just some of my favorite clips of him. But back in September again on the persimmon trees, and he's up in what I call the beautiful flat. I got a skull there just for eye appeal. He's kind of checking out that deer skull. But it's like a bench right there. It's a really pretty place. I killed a turkey there spring gobbler season this year. My favorite video of them, daylight, one of my favorites for 2024, still in September down at the persimmon trees. Them dark antlers. Different angle, I run 2 cameras there at the persimmon trees, a different angle with the persimmons. Alright, so there he is in that beautiful bench at that flat that I like so much. I think there's a turkey getting ready to either fly down or just didn't like it that the deer was underneath it. Turkey fly down, tackles going on there, yelps and such. There he is coming through the same flat. Love that place right there, and he's just coyotes. We've got every year we have a family of coyotes on the ground, and we coyote hunt. We usually wipe them out pretty good, you know, December, January, February, try to beat them back, but it seems like we always got a family group with some pups to deal with, so coyotes are going off there in the background. And here we are mid-October, and you know, they're starting to feel themselves. That testosterone's really getting built up, and he's pushing around a smaller buck up in the rim rock. So you're about to see the last few videos that I got of Cruiser before I harvested them. I harvested them on November the 9th, so these are the last few videos I got of him. Here he is on November the 4th, back left corner of the farm, just below the clear cut, on a rope scrape that I've got. Here he is. I'm very happy to have gotten, you know, another finch jump out of him on November the 5th. I got a really good finch jump video of him. And this is the last video I got of him in the rim rock. He's coming down off the rim rock. Man, what a nice deer. Very blessed. Very blessed to harvest an animal like that. Wow, yeah, he is definitely a second tag shooter for me. I did not make a mistake on taking him. I wish he was a first tag, but I find it when I take my first buck, like last year I killed a pretty big 6-pointer. It gave me the discipline I needed to hold out for Titan. Something about just having a deer harvested just really helps me have discipline. With that being said, I had a little teensy tiny spike buck. I mean, barely horns visible above the hairline come through this morning. But, you know, I haven't really had to have the discipline to pass on anything. But, yeah, this is just a beautiful deer, beautiful 8-pointer, all you could ask for. All right, let's take a better look at him. Just now put my hands on him, and he has got incredible masses, big bases. Yeah, in my neck of the woods, that's a 4 or 5 year old deer. Very good deer. And I think I've got history with this deer. I know I've got trail cam stuff on him, but huge body on this deer. I think it's probably a 5-year-old. And you know, the more I look at them, when I had the small 8-point that I shot, we're dogging a doe. The doe actually ducked under that log, and there was a buck on the other side of the log. I was sitting, you know, this way. So the more I look at him, his antlers, this might be the buck that was on the other side of the log. And then, you know, the doe had ran over to his side, and then the buck I ended up shooting was on this side of the log walking up to where she had ducked under. This could very well be the buck that was on the other side of the log, this being his little area here. Very happy with him. So yeah, he was quartering too. I hit him right here in the shoulder, and I mean, he didn't stand a chance. Like I said, he almost flipped backwards. Yeah, I just drug the buck down somewhere where I could drive to it from the fields, and coming back in here to where I shot it right here, that's a good looking rub right there. I can't help but think that he might have made it. Yeah, he was coming right over this ridge, and you know, I look at these rubs and I can't help but think this is his stomping grounds, and he could have very well made that rub also. Hey dude, I have a cat that absolutely loves raw deer meat. Stop rubbing your face on me. Look at her. That's like the 4th or 5th piece she's done eat. She loves it. Don't you love it, Doodles? Yeah.